Okay, here's the back of it. It actually is more complicated than you'd think it would need to be. Having worked with Bell's Cascades and the like, which are similar, this is really quite quite an engineering feat in here. Starting at the top, you can see the coin entry disappearing into between the back field and the front of the case. Coins were entering here very slowly when I first got it. I had to take it out and clean it. There was a lot of dirt and fluff, the kind of stuff that any slotty would easily recognise taking apart any coin entry on most machines, really. Here is the mechanism, and that's the back of the retracting shelf, so that when you press the button on the front, you can see that it, if I can do it without destroying the machine, knocking it off the shelf. There we are, you can see that is moving. Very simple. And then we have the back of the pin field, and then we have this apron, and those are the pins that the coins move and detect that the one more coin will trip it. You can see, for example, this one is sitting quite vertically, so there's still some more coins to go in that one, whereas this one here is tipping forward, which means that the coins are near the top of that particular slide and are depressing the lever over, ready to catch the next one. The next one that goes in there would come down, hit that, and be deflected down here to this lever, and you can see it going down here. What that does is that will then, in fact I'll do it and you can see, with the weight of a threepenny bit on it, put it on, it went down, that removed the pin at the bottom of the pile of coins, so they all drop down. Oh, let me pick that up off the floor, otherwise I'll lose it. And then when the coin drops off, because this, then it becomes vertical, drops off, and the lead weight at the back that has risen pulls the whole thing back up and resets it, or at least that's the idea. Again, you need the weight of a threepenny bit on it. Sixpence won't work. A lot of this machine does depend entirely on the correct weight, the correct pressure. These lead weights are all critical. I don't know whether you can see, there is a wire there, my finger's pointing to it, and there's another one there. Those pieces of wire are also critical. What they do is they ensure two things. One, that when the lever goes down, it releases the pin at the bottom to allow the coins to drop, but also on the way up it reverses the action so that when the lever goes back up it will be caught again and reset the whole action. If it doesn't do that, then the next coin in will just drop straight through, and it's all critical. It's quite astonishing. I've got it all working on all of the columns now, but I think it still needs probably a couple of hundred, maybe 500 coins through to ensure that it's all working. It needed. I had to take everything apart, all the hinges, everything were on all of the axles, everything were all just slightly musty and moving quite slowly. An interesting problem that I found was that the middle columns weren't working. They weren't deflecting the pins at the top when the columns were full. And that really flummoxed me at first, and it wasn't until I put a straight rule across the back playfield, I noticed that it was slightly bowed. It came out ever so slightly before going back in again. It was really hard to notice, but it was enough to provide a gap here between the back of the playfield and the glass, so that the coin would move, instead of moving the pin would move the coin, and then we didn't have the deflector in place. I got around that problem by replacing the screws that were holding the backfield in place with coach bolts, and another one up there, and bolted the whole thing in so that it flattened it. My heart was in my mouth when I did that, because of course you're pushing, well, you're making a sandwich, and one piece of bread is glass, but it took it. It was a very thick piece of glass, and I'm pleased to say it took it, but it was a bit like bolting down a cylinder head on a car, where you start going off at diagonals and don't just run up one side and then tighten up the other. Okay, well, that's it. That's the supplier's plate, which I think most of us have seen and probably looked up on Google and found out that they were a supplier. I'm happy it's working. I've got to put a lock on it. The one thing I'm not very good at with my machines, I must admit. As soon as I got them working, I just want to play them. But I will get a lock. I've got one here. A lock ready to go on, a brand new one, same as the one that came off, and then it will join the collection. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and maybe it's whet your appetite if you see one. Thanks for watching.